My name is Kaitlyn, and at 27 years old, I've finally carved out the life I fought for in Portland freelance photography gigs that pay the bills, a cozy studio overlooking the Willamette, and mornings sketching city lights without anyone breathing down my neck. But rewind 8 years to that Christmas Eve and everything shattered in one sticky second. The dining room buzzed with forced cheer turkey slices steaming on plates, lights twinkling off tinsel. My sister leaned across the table, eyes narrowing during our quiet spat over my plans to move out after college. "You think you're better than us?" she hissed, then grabbed her half-empty soda can. Before I could blink, she upended it right over my head. Fizzy brown liquid cascaded down my hair, soaking my sweater dripping onto my plate. The room exploded in laughter. My brother snorted into his napkin. Dad chuckled low from his chair, and Mom just rolled her eyes, snatching a rag from the counter and tossing it my way like yesterday's trash. "It's just a joke, Kaitlyn. Dry off and stop overreacting." The soda burned cold against my skin, but their laughs, those sliced deeper. I froze, rag limp in my hand, soda pooling at my feet. No yelling, no tears. I just stood, wiped my face once, and slipped upstairs. Minutes later, I returned with the envelope I'd sealed that morning, heavy with pages I'd poured my soul into. I set it dead center on the table, right amid the crumbs and wrapping paper. "Read it when you're ready," I said flatly, then grabbed my coat and walked out into the snow-slick night. The door clicked shut behind me. They tore it open hours later, or so I heard. Faces drained white. Mom dropped the rag mid-swipe. Dad's laugh choked off like a stalled engine. The whole room went dead silent, that frozen fear hanging thicker than the holiday fog. What was in there? 8 years of quiet notes, screenshots, moments they swore never happened. If they'd listened sooner, if you were made a laughingstock by your family at that moment, what would you do? Please comment and let me know. Looking back, those roots twisted deep from the start. We grew up in a quiet Seattle suburb, the kind with manicured lawns and minivans parked neat in driveways. I was the middle kid in our family of 5. My older brother Cody was 2 years my senior, always the one Dad pinned hopes on. My younger sister Marissa trailed 3 years behind me, wide-eyed and demanding. From the outside, we screamed picture-perfect coordinated Easter outfits, backyard barbecues, that glossy feed Mom curated on Instagram. Mom Diane worked as a community nurse, the type everyone adored for her warm smile and packed lunches. She obsessed over our image, snapping endless photos and editing them just so before posting. Dad Ronald engineered software for a downtown firm, pulling long hours that left him distant even when home. His rules hung heavy: straight A's or bust, but somehow Marissa dodged the heat with a pout and a hug. Early on, sibling stuff felt standard. We'd chase fireflies in summer dusk, Cody shielding me when neighborhood kids mocked my freckles. "Ignore 'em," he'd mutter, arm-slung casual over my shoulder. Marissa tagged along everywhere, mimicking my outfits, borrowing my sketchpad without asking. Annoying, sure, but sweet too in those fleeting moments. One trip etched it all: the family camping haul to Yellowstone when I was 11. For days, we hiked geyser trails, roasted s'mores under lodgepole pines, slept to coyote howls echoing faint. Dad pointed out elk silhouettes at dawn. Mom spun tales of park ghosts that had Marissa burrowing between us in the tent. I clutched my new camera, a hand-me-down from Grandma, snapping wildflowers and steam vents, heart swelling with that rare belonging. Then it vanished. Marissa, playing tag near Old Faithful, accidentally knocked my backpack into a steaming pool. The strap sizzled, gone in seconds. I fished out the soggy case, gut twisting. It was right there, I stammered, voice cracking. Marissa burst into tears, clutching her doll. Mom knelt fast, hugging her tight. "Oh, honey, don't cry, accidents happen." Dad glanced over, frowning. "Kaitlyn, you should have been more careful. That's on you for leaving it out." No questions. No hunt for backups. Just me standing sodden while they comforted her sobs. That sting lingered a quiet fracture. But I swallowed it like always because what else could a kid do fast forward a year, and the scales tipped clearer. I hit 12, buried in books, pulling a perfect GPA that teachers raved about. Unique eye, they'd say, praising my photo essays on neighborhood life. Dad nodded once at dinner, then pivoted. Cody's C+ in algebra, solid effort, proud of you, son. Effort over excellence. Marissa's finger paint scribbles earned fridge space and coups. Mine gathered dust in a drawer. Mom's Instagram told the tale. Scrolling one night, thumb pausing mid-swipe, I spotted our family fun shots, her arm around Cody at a Mariners game, Marissa beaming from a ballet recital. Me cropped out, or blurred in the back, like a glitch, no one fixed. Why not post the whole group? I asked once, casual over cereal. She waved it off. These just pop better, keeps things light. Light for who? In those moments, doubt crept in a slow drip, eroding stone. Why did their wins echo loud while mine faded to whispers? I journaled it late nights, pen scratching furious under flashlight glow, wondering if I imagined the tilt. Yet part of me clung hard, maybe next time they'd see. By middle school, the cracks widened into chasms. I threw myself into class's camera, always slung around my neck, capturing school events for the yearbook. Teachers noticed first. Ms. Riley pulled me aside after a shot of the pep rally, her voice warm. Kaitlyn, this framing exceptional. You've got real talent. A local photo contest followed my entry on Urban Decay, snagging third place. I burst home waving the ribbon, words tumbling fast. Look what I won, it's statewide. Dad skimmed the certificate, grunted once. Not bad. Now about that science fair, Marissa's project's due soon. Mom beamed at her across the kitchen, where my sister hunched over poster board, markers scattered. Minutes later, Marissa wailed, glue spilled, edges curling. Chaos erupted. Dad dropped his tools from the garage, rushing in. We'll fix it together, kiddo. Mom cooed, wiping her cheeks. My ribbon tucked forgotten on the fridge door. That pattern repeated, relentless. Every milestone I hit, Marissa staged a bigger scene. I made honor roll. She'd forget her lines for the holiday play, sobbing through rehearsals until the director spotlighted her comeback. My first published photo in the community paper. She twisted an ankle at soccer, mild sprain, but the drama swelled. Family dinner turned triage. Dad iced her foot. Mom fetched pillows. My clipping passed hand to hand without a glance. Pass the salt, someone said, and it vanished under plates. Worse came the wreckage. Marissa raided my room like clockwork, borrowing without a word. One afternoon, I returned from debate club to find my favorite jeans shredded at the knees. I tripped on the stairs. She shrugged, eyes wide. Mom sighed, turning to me. Kaitlyn, sharing means caring. Buy new ones. Life's too short for grudges. I bit my tongue, stitching them late under desk lamp glow, needle pricking skin as resentment built. Then the holidays hit, sharpening every edge. That Christmas at 12, wrapping paper flew in the living room haze. Cody ripped into his a gaming console worth $500, his whoop echoing off walls. Epic, thanks, Dad. Dad clapped his back, grinning wide. Marissa squealed next, unveiling a deluxe dollhouse set, outfits galore. It's perfect, Mom, you remembered? Mom hugged her, fierce tears brimming. Of course, sweetie, you deserve it. My turn dragged. Under the tree, a plain notebook, $5 tops from the dollar store. For your doodles, Mom said offhand, already stacking plates. I forced a smile, fingers tracing the cover's cheap grain. Thanks. No fanfare, no questions about the camera lens I'd hinted at for months. Just that quiet thud in my chest, like a door clicking shut. Because of this, the final blow landed harder. I'd slaved 6 months on a project, black and white series on forgotten corners of Seattle prints, matted careful for the school showcase. Deadline loomed, so I left them drying on my desk, heading for a quick shower. Steam still clung to the mirror when I stepped back in. Marissa hovered there, mug in hand, coffee pooling dark across my work. Streaks, ruined faces, blurred lines into smears. "What did you do?" I gasped, lunging forward. She flinched back, mug clattering. "I just came to borrow a pencil, it slipped." Tears welled instant. Mom bustled in from the hall, drawn by the crash. She wrapped Marissa close, stroking her hair. "Shh, it's okay. Accidents happen to everyone." Her gaze flicked to me sharp. "Kaitlyn, yelling won't help. Clean it up and start over, you're tougher than this." The coffee cooled sticky on my fingers as I scrubbed throat tight, wondering how long I'd keep pretending it didn't burn. High school sharpened every slight into a blade. I leaned hard into photography, lugging my camera to every school event, framing shots that landed me editor of the yearbook by junior year. At 16, I won a statewide contest for a portrait series on homeless shelters, my name printed bold in the local paper. I raced home, heart pounding, thrusting the clipping at Mom over dinner. "Look, I made the news." Her eyes flicked up from her phone, scanning it quick. "That's nice, Kaitlyn." Then turning to my sister, "Marissa, how's your cheer routine coming?" Marissa smirked, twirling her fork. "Fine, until I twisted my wrist at practice today." Instantly the table shifted. Dad set down his beer, frowning. "You okay, kid?" Mom pushed back her chair, fetching an ice pack. My clipping slid under a napkin, ignored again. But Marissa wasn't done. That spring, at a family barbecue with cousins and aunts, she hacked my Instagram. My feed filled with old, awkward selfies from middle school pimples and braces glaring captioned, "Kaitlyn's glow up fail LOL." Laughter rippled through the backyard as phones pinged. I confronted her, voice low. "Why would you do this?" She batted her lashes, all innocence. "Just a prank, chill out." Mom overheard, shaking her head. "Kaitlyn, you left your phone unlocked. Don't fault her for your mistake." "Fault me?" My stomach churned, the crowd's chuckles echoing in my skull. When college hit at 18, I chose fine arts at a local Washington university, staying home to save costs, a choice I'd regret. Campus offered escape open courtyards, dark rooms thick with chemical tang. There, I met Tessa Harper, a design major with a sharp wit, who spotted me editing prints alone, one lunch. "Mind if I join?" she asked, sliding over with her coffee. Her kindness cracked something open. Over late-night lattes, I spilled the years of slights, Marissa's sabotage, Mom's dismissal, Dad's silence. Tessa listened, eyes steady. "That's not okay, Kaitlyn. You're not imagining it." Her words hit like air after drowning. She nudged me toward the campus counseling center, even walking me to my first session. The counselor, Dr. Harlan, unpacked it all. "What you're describing," he said, leaning forward in his creaky chair, "is a scapegoat dynamic. One child takes the blame so the family avoids facing itself." For the first time, I had a name for it: scapegoat. It wasn't me. It was them. I started journaling again, logging every jab, every ignored win screenshots of Marissa's hacked posts. But knowing didn't stop the hurt. That Christmas at 19, it snapped. We'd gathered for dinner, the table heavy with turkey and tension. I mentioned moving out after sophomore year, saving for a dorm. Marissa's eyes flashed mid-bite. "Running away because you can't hack it here," she whispered, leaning close. Before I could answer, she grabbed her soda can, tipping it slow over my head. Cold liquid soaked my hair, stung my eyes, drenched my shirt. The room roared, my brother's snort, Dad's low laugh, cousins nudging elbows. I slipped on the wet floor, arm twisting hard as I felt a sharp snap in my wrist. Pain flared hot and fast. Mom tossed a rag across the table. "Kaitlyn, you're so clumsy, just a joke, clean it up." Dad sent a text from the couch. "Watch your step next time." I sat there, rag dripping, wrist throbbing, their laughter, a knife twisting deeper. In that moment, staring at their faces, smirking, dismissing blind, I saw it clear. This wasn't tough love or misunderstanding. This was a system built to break me, and I was done pretending I could fix it. After that Christmas, I stopped waiting for them to change. The 6 weeks in a cast cemented my resolve. Every twinge in my wrist, every fumble with a fork screamed one truth I had to escape. I sat in my room, arm propped on pillows, scrolling through screenshots Marissa's hacked Instagram posts, her smug captions texts from mom brushing it off as my fault. My journal grew thick pages crammed with dates, quotes, every slight I'd buried since middle school. Writing it down kept me grounded like mapping a maze I'd been lost in too long. Dr. Harlan's office became my anchor. At 20, I spilled it all in our sessions. Mom's rag toss, Dad's cold texts, my brother's silence. Dr. Richard Harlan, a soft-spoken therapist with graying temples, nodded slow, jotting notes. "This is golden child versus scapegoat," he said, voice steady. "Cody's propped up to shine, Marissa's coddled to distract, leaving you to carry the family's flaws." His words landed heavy, naming the system I'd felt but couldn't see. I'd spent years thinking I was broken. Now I knew it was their game, not my failure. I started fighting back, small but deliberate. When Marissa swiped my camera lens claiming it was hers, I called her out sharp. "That's mine, hand it over." She pouted, running to Mom, but I held firm, locking my door after. Mom knocked later, exasperated. "Kaitlyn, don't make drama, she's just borrowing." I stared back, voice flat. Borrowing doesn't mean stealing. For once, she blinked, caught off guard, and left without a word. College became my lifeline. Despite Dad's push for practical majors like business, I stuck with fine arts, chasing photography. My junior year at 21, I met Professor Daniel Vance, a wiry lecturer with a knack for spotting raw talent. He lingered after class, studying my prints, stark shots of empty playgrounds, shadows stretching long. "You've got something real here, Kaitlyn," he said, tapping one. "This says more than most portfolios." He pushed me toward a Portland internship, connecting me with gallery contacts. Each nod felt like a brick in my escape plan. I took on freelance gigs, portraits for local families, headshots for small businesses, $20 a pop. Every cent went to a secret savings account opened at a credit union far from Dad's bank. I worked late shifts at a campus coffee shop, steaming milk, till my good hand ached, saving for a life where no one could dismiss me. By senior year, my portfolio grew, images of fractured spaces, reflections of my own cracks. My thesis exhibition, a series on isolation, drew quiet praise from faculty. I invited my family out of habit, knowing they wouldn't show. They didn't. The letter took shape in those final months at 22. It wasn't a plea or a rant, it was an indictment. Pages listed every incident: Marissa's hacks, Mom's deflections, Dad's absence, Cody's complicity. I attached screenshots, journal scans, a photo of my casted wrist. A final touch, a small print of a butterfly breaking free, my symbol of what was coming. "I'm choosing myself," I wrote, pen steady. "This ends now." Graduation came fast. I skipped the family lunch, packed my beat-up sedan with Tessa's help, and mailed the letter from campus. As we drove toward Portland, the road humming under tires, I felt the weight lift, not gone, but lighter. For the first time, I wasn't running from them. I was running toward me. Portland welcomed me with open skies and a steep climb. My new life started small, a cramped studio and a creaky walk-up windows rattling in Oregon rain. I landed a serving job at a diner near the river, balancing trays of burgers till my feet screamed, earning $10 an hour to cover rent. Tessa, my rock, drove up weekends, helping me edit photos on a second-hand laptop, her laughter cutting through my doubts. Those early days tested me nights, slurping instant noodles, staring at a bare fridge, wondering if I'd traded one cage for another. But no one mocked my music choices or rifled through my things. That freedom, sharp and raw, kept me pushing. Photography became my pulse. I hustled freelance gigs, wedding candids, cafe menus, $30 a shot, building a portfolio one frame at a time. At 23, I met Ethan Caldwell, a freelance journalist with a quiet smile and sharp questions hired to write for the same gallery project I shot. Over coffee runs, we clicked his curiosity about my work, sparking something real. Your photos don't just capture, they speak, he said once, studying a print of cracked pavement. With him, I didn't brace for dismissal. His belief felt like sunlight after years in shadow. Back home, the letter had cracked their facade. Weeks after I mailed it, my phone lit up Mom's number voice, shrill in voicemail. Kaitlyn, how could you write those lies? We gave you everything? No apology, just blame. My sister sent texts, venom dripping. You're just jealous, always have been. Dad's email was curt, a single line. When you're ready to act mature, we'll talk. I deleted them all, hands, steady heart racing. My brother's message came quieter, a text at midnight. I should have spoken up. I'm sorry. It stung his guilt too late, but I didn't reply. Boundaries held firm. Aunt Gloria Harper, Mom's older sister, reached out in secret. Her emails sent from a tucked-away account offered tips, portfolio sites, local galleries. I always saw you, Kaitlyn. She wrote her words, a lifeline no one else threw. She'd fought Mom once years back over their favoritism and paid for it with distance. Her support, quiet but fierce, fueled my drive. By 24, my work caught traction. A national magazine commissioned a series on emotional resilience, my photos of shattered glass and blooming weeds paired with survivor stories. The paycheck, $500, felt like a milestone, enough for a better lens. I joined a Portland art collective, swapping ideas with painters and sculptors, their feedback sharpening my eye. My apartment filled with thrift store frames, my prints pinned beside them, each one proof I was building something mine. Then my brother emailed again from a new job in Seattle tech. Things fell apart after you left, he wrote. Mom and Dad's marriage crumbled, divorce finalized a year after my letter, their perfect image in ashes. My sister dropped out of college, cycling through retail jobs, unable to hold one without her old charm. I pictured her alone in a break room, no one left to applaud her tantrums. Their world unraveled not because of me, but because I'd stopped holding it together. Success wasn't revenge, it was release. Every shoot, every print sold, every night with Ethan planning our next project built a life they couldn't touch. I'd escaped their system, not just survived it. Now at 27, I've built a life that's mine alone. Portland's my home, sunlit apartment, Ethan by my side, our engagement ring glinting as we plan a quiet spring wedding. My photography thrives. Gallery shows sell out, my latest series on healing through art splashed across local blogs. I teach online workshops via Zoom, guiding others to channel pain into pixels, each session proof I've turned scars into strength. Like kintsugi, my cracks gleam gold, not shame. My family's world, meanwhile, lies in pieces. My sister, now 24, drifts through retail jobs, stocking shelves for $15 an hour at a Seattle strip mall, her charm fading without an audience. No college degree, no close friends. Her Instagram's gone silent, followers trickling away. Mom lives alone in the old suburb house, her social media dark since the divorce. Neighbors stopped calling her, perfect family mask crumbled when Dad left. He's in Florida now, remarried to a woman half his age, but his emails to Cody hint at regret. No kids to visit, no ties left. Their downfall wasn't my doing, but my absence exposed their cracks. Cody's the outlier. At 29, he's settled in Seattle working tech, texting me occasionally. You were right to leave. He wrote last month, guilt threading his words. He's in therapy, untangling his role as the favored son. But we keep it light, coffee when he's in town. No deep promises. I've forgiven him. Not them. Mom tried calling once, voice pleading. Kaitlyn can't. We move past this? No apology, just demands for peace. I hung up, hands steady. My sister sent a message through Cody. Tell Kaitlyn I miss her. I didn't reply. Her words rang hollow, no remorse behind them. I don't need their validation anymore. That letter, sent 5 years ago, set me free to build a real family, Ethan framing my prints with care. Tessa mailing sketch pads from Seattle. Gloria cheering every show via email. To anyone trapped in a family that dims their light, I've learned this: you don't owe loyalty to those who break you. Walk away. Find therapy, lean on friends who see your truth. Your pain is real. Name it, claim it, and build a life that shines. Share your story below. Let's lift each other up.